Welcome to Heartbreak Chronicles.
Infidelity is not an accident, but a choice. Marriage is not a game, yet I became a mere pawn. The moment I walked into the bedroom, my marriage was already dead. The scent of cologne and rumpled bedsheets. Vanessa, my so-called wife, feigning shock like a cheap actress. And the man beside her? Her boss Marcus, that coward who fake smiled at me during company gatherings, now wearing only his underwear, his face etched with fear. This wasn't an accidental encounter. This was them playing with fire and getting burned. "Hey, Marcus, bet you didn't expect to get caught in an HR action tonight, huh?" I sneered. "Is this the complaint submission phase? Or do we skip straight to termination?" Marcus's face instantly turned deathly pale. He began stammering apologies, but I had no patience for this pathetic performance. From his contemptuous gaze, I could tell he didn't believe he'd done anything wrong. He was merely afraid I might hit him. This soulless apology was worse than silence. "Gee, Griffin, this isn't what you think." Marcus squeezed out these words, waving his hands futilely in front of his chest, as if they could shield him from the impending storm. "Not what I think?" I scoffed. "Then please, tell me, what should I think when a half-naked man is lying next to someone else's wife?" Vanessa finally found her voice. "Griffin, calm down. It was just a mistake." "A mistake?" My tone was ice cold. "A mistake is an impulsive act. But you too. You seem quite practiced. The wrinkles in these sheets tell me this isn't the first time, is it?" My fists reacted before my brain. No hesitation, no argument. Seconds later, Marcus was curled up on the floor, howling and clutching his head. Corporate elite? Look at him now, like a dog with its tail stepped on. "Come on, Marcus. Is this how you negotiate in the boardroom? Or do you just play dead, hoping the problem will disappear on its own?" I grabbed him by the shirt collar and dragged him to the door. "Put your pants on and get out of my house. Don't let me see you again, or next time you'll get more than just a beating." Marcus bolted out the door like a frightened rabbit, even forgetting that one of his shoes still lay abandoned on my bedroom floor. I turned to Vanessa, who had now put on her robe and stood hugging a pillow at the edge of the bed, like a criminal awaiting sentencing. "Why?" I asked calmly, a calmness more terrifying than any rage. "I haven't been happy, Griffin. Not for many years." Her voice held no remorse, only cold statements. "Marcus understands me. He appreciates my talents, not just seeing me as a housewife." "So your unhappiness is solved through betrayal?" I countered. "I gave you everything: this house, 2 children, a stable life. And what did you do? Throw 15 years of marriage into the trash." Vanessa laughed coldly. "You gave me everything? No, Griffin, you gave me what you thought I needed. You never really asked what I wanted." In that moment, I realized a brutal truth. This woman, my wife, my life partner, was now a stranger to me. The distance between us wasn't just a few steps, but as vast and uncrossable as the universe. "I'll contact a lawyer tomorrow. Divorce papers will be sent soon." I turned to leave without sparing her a glance. "You can stay here. I'll go to a hotel." "Griffin," she called after me, her voice wavering for the first time. "Don't do this. We can talk, for the children's sake." I paused at the doorway without looking back. "No, Vanessa. For the children's sake, we should end this charade. I won't let them grow up surrounded by lies and deception." That night, I checked into a suite at a downtown hotel, standing before floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights. 15 years of marriage ended just like that. No chance for reconciliation, no possibility of making amends. Some wounds run too deep to heal, some betrayals too complete to forgive. The sad truth is, this was only the beginning. Real wars aren't fought on battlefields, but in legal documents and across family dinner tables. The air in the divorce attorney's office was frigid and tense. Vanessa sat at the opposite end of the long table, dressed in a carefully selected suit, makeup flawless, as if preparing for a business negotiation. Her lawyer, a middle-aged man with a hawk-like nose, was listing their demands: the house, custody, child support, and shares in my company. "Given the sacrifices your wife made for your family, and her support of your career, we believe these requests are entirely reasonable," the lawyer stated, his voice steady and confident. "Furthermore, considering the children's welfare, we suggest that Mrs. Vanessa receive primary custody." My attorney, Nathaniel, a seasoned divorce specialist, gently shook his head. "I'm afraid these demands are excessive. My client is willing to provide reasonable child support, but regarding property division and company shares, we have different views." The negotiation lasted 3 hours, like a carefully choreographed dance with everyone trying to secure the most advantageous position. Eventually, we reached a preliminary agreement. Vanessa would get the house, I would retain all my company shares, and we would share custody, though the children would primarily live with Vanessa. As we exited the attorney's office, Vanessa stopped me. "Griffin, I hope we can resolve this peacefully." I stared at her carefully crafted expression of concern and suddenly felt nauseated. "Don't pretend you care, Vanessa. We both know what you want." "That's not fair." Her eyes flashed with anger. "I gave 15 years of my youth. I deserve compensation." "Compensation?" I sneered. "Compensation for your affair? For betraying your family? Tell me, how does Marcus compensate you?" Her face flushed, but she quickly regained composure. "This has nothing to do with Marcus. It's about our marriage, about our children." "No, Vanessa." I shook my head. "It's about money. It always has been." On my way back to my temporary residence, I received a call from Olivia. Her voice was full of accusation. "Dad, how could you do this to Mom? She cried all night." I took a deep breath, trying to control my emotions. "Olivia, things are more complicated than you imagine." "There's nothing complicated." She was practically screaming. "You abandoned us. You don't love us anymore." "I never abandoned you," I replied calmly. "I love you and Sophia more than anything. But what happened between your mother and me? You don't know the whole truth." "I know enough," she sobbed. "Mom says you've changed, that you only care about your company and money, that you never cared about our feelings." And so began Vanessa's brainwashing campaign, casting herself as the victim and painting me as the heartless villain. Most heartbreaking was that Olivia, my youngest daughter, my little princess, completely believed her lies. Sophia's reaction was entirely different. That evening, she came to my temporary apartment bringing takeout and worried eyes. "Dad, are you okay?" she asked softly, her eyes full of concern. I tried to smile but failed. "I'll be fine, Sophia. Just need some time." She sat across from me, silent for a moment, then said, "I know Mom was cheating. I saw her with Marcus more than once." I looked at her, shocked. "You knew? Why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't want to hurt you." She lowered her head. "And I hoped she would stop, realize her mistake. I really thought she would come to her senses." I held my daughter's hand, feeling her trembling. "This isn't your fault, Sophia. Never blame yourself for adults' mistakes." "Olivia doesn't know the truth," Sophia said quietly. "She believes every word Mom says. She thinks you suddenly turned cold and abandoned us." "She'll learn the truth someday," I said, though inwardly uncertain. "Until then, I need you to stay strong. Don't let all this change who you are." Sophia nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I will, Dad. I promise." Blood ties don't guarantee loyalty. Truth is often distorted by emotions. In this smokeless war, the greatest weapon isn't fists, but the human heart. The day the court ruling was announced, the courtroom was terrifyingly quiet. The judge read out the words that would completely change our lives in a matter-of-fact tone. Primary custody to Vanessa with visitation rights for me. $5,000 monthly child support, no alimony, house to Vanessa, company to me. Vanessa had won the first battle of the war, but this was just the beginning. As we left the courtroom, she approached me with a victor's smile. "Griffin, I hope you'll respect the court's decision and pay child support on time. The children need stability." I looked at this woman who once shared my life and felt an indescribable alienation. "I'll take responsibility for my children, Vanessa. But don't expect anything more." The real test began in daily life. On each visitation day, I arrived punctually, bearing gifts and expectations. But Olivia grew increasingly distant, each meeting becoming a form of torture. "Dad, I'm really busy today," she would say dismissively, eyes glued to her phone screen. "I'm going out with friends." "Just 1 hour, Olivia," I pleaded. "We could get ice cream like we used to." She looked up, her gaze cold. "Like we used to? That was before you abandoned us. Everything's different now." Each such conversation was like a knife plunged deep into my heart. Vanessa wasn't just taking my marriage. She was stealing my relationship with my daughter. Most painful was that Olivia had no idea she was being manipulated. Meanwhile, Olivia's attitude toward money underwent a subtle change. Though she refused to spend time with me, she accepted my financial support without hesitation. "Dad, I need a new laptop," she texted me one day, "for a school project." "Of course," I replied, hoping this might be an opportunity to rebuild our relationship. "We could go choose one together." "No need," she quickly declined. "I've already found one. It costs $1,700. You can just transfer the money to me." I hesitated. "Olivia, that's not just a regular laptop." "What? You won't even spend that much on your daughter?" Her tone was accusatory. "Mom says you only care about your money. Seems she's right." And so I became an ATM, a remote checkbook, not a father. Olivia rejected my love but gladly accepted my money. Vanessa manipulated from behind the scenes, portraying me as a selfish, cold monster. Sophia was entirely different. She visited me regularly, sharing her life and dreams. She never asked for money. Even during financially tight college years, she chose to work part-time rather than demand from me. "Dad, I got an internship," she excitedly told me, "at an advertising agency. The pay isn't great, but the experience is valuable." "That's wonderful, Sophia." I was proud of her. "If you need any help." "I know," she smiled, "but I want to do this on my own. It's important to me." Sometimes, I would secretly pay some of her bills or send surprise gifts. She always tried to refuse but would eventually accept with gratitude. Not for their material value, but because she understood the love behind these gifts. Years passed and the situation became increasingly clear. Vanessa and Marcus were now openly together, though not yet formally married. Marcus had moved into what was once my house, slept in what was once my bed, and pretended to be a new father to Olivia and Sophia. Every time I saw their happy family photos on social media, I felt sick. Marcus standing there, hand on Olivia's shoulder, smiling like a loving father. Vanessa beaming as if she'd finally found true love. And Olivia, my little girl, seemingly accepting this new family structure. Sophia was the only exception. In these photos, she always stood at the edge, her smile polite but distant. She never let Marcus get too close, never called him by any affectionate name. She maintained her boundaries, even under immense pressure. Money reveals everyone's true face. Vanessa didn't get alimony, but child support flowed steadily. She raised my children with my money while teaching them to hate me. This wasn't nurturing. It was extortion. Olivia quickly learned the rules of this game. "Dad, my credit card limit isn't enough," she called to complain. "I need to buy some equipment for my social media channel." "What equipment, Olivia? How much?" "A professional camera set, about $4,300, she said casually. "If you want me to have a good future, it's a necessary investment." $4,300 for an 18-year-old girl's social media career? This was absurd. But I knew that refusing would result in a string of accusations and cold treatment. "I need to think about this, Olivia," I answered cautiously. "That's a significant amount." "Oh, so you have money for a new car but none to support your daughter's dreams?" Her voice dripped with sarcasm. "Typical of you, Dad." Eventually, I compromised not because of her accusations, but because of that faint hope. Perhaps, through this material support, I could regain her love and respect. But I was wrong. Each concession only brought more demands. Each transfer only reinforced her behavior pattern. I wasn't winning back my daughter. I was financing her and Vanessa's material desires. When love becomes a transaction, family relationships become commodities. The saddest part is that they don't even realize they've lost the most precious thing: genuine connection. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. Sophia became a rising star in the advertising industry. Olivia, she became a social media influencer with tens of thousands of followers, primarily posting about fashion, lifestyle, and travel, all indirectly funded by my child support payments. Marcus and Vanessa pretended to be happy, showcasing their perfect life in every photo. But occasionally, in unguarded moments, I could catch the emptiness in Vanessa's eyes and Marcus's strained smile. They weren't happy. They were just playing roles, waiting for the next collapse. When Olivia's wedding invitation appeared in my inbox, I thought it was just another extortion opportunity. An email titled "Important Notice. Olivia's Wedding." From Vanessa. "Dear Griffin," the email began, the fake politeness making me sick. "Olivia will marry Jason in 3 months. As her father, we hope you'll attend and cover the appropriate expenses. A budget list is attached." I clicked on the attachment and stared in disbelief at the figure: $36,000. This wasn't a wedding. It was a luxury goods exhibition. Just as I was contemplating how to respond, Olivia called. "Dad, did you get the email? About the wedding." Her voice had an unnatural sweetness. "I did, Olivia. Congratulations to you and Jason." "Thanks." She quickly glossed over the congratulations and got to the point. "About the wedding. Mom probably told you already. We need you to handle the funding." "Yes, I saw the budget. Honestly, the figure seems quite high." "Dad." Her voice instantly turned sharp. "This is the biggest day of my life. Do you want my wedding to look like a cheap party?" I took a deep breath. "Of course not, Olivia. I just think the budget might need some adjustments. After all, $36,000 is no small sum." "Whatever," she said coldly. "There's one more thing." "What is it?" "About the father's role at the wedding." She paused. "I want Marcus to walk me down the aisle." This wasn't a request. It was a declaration of war. Not about her happiness, but about completely erasing my existence. This was the last straw. "Wait, what?" My voice was unnaturally calm, almost not my own. "You want Marcus, your mother's lover, to take my place?" "It's not replacing you," she argued. "It's just, Marcus has been there for me all these years, while you've only connected with me through your bank account." My heart felt squeezed. "Olivia, I've always tried to connect with you. You rejected every attempt." "That doesn't matter now," she said dismissively. "What matters is that I want Marcus to walk me down the aisle. It's my wedding, my choice." I remained silent for a long time, digesting this enormous insult. Finally, I said calmly, "Fine, Olivia. You can have anyone walk you down the aisle, but I won't pay a penny for this insulting performance." The silence on the other end was deafening. "You can't do this. Do you know how much a wedding costs?" Her voice shifted from contempt to panic. "Of course I do. Isn't Marcus your new dad? Let him pay." You're joking, right?" she stammered. "You can't just wash your hands of this. You have a responsibility." "Responsibility?" I scoffed. "Tell me, Olivia, what is a father's responsibility? Is it providing money or providing love and support? Because I tried to give you the latter, but you only wanted the former. This isn't fair." "No, Olivia. What's unfair is letting a cheating bastard replace your birth father while still expecting your birth father to foot the bill. That's true unfairness." I hung up, my hand shaking. This was the first time I truly stood up and refused to continue playing the role they had assigned me. The silent ATM. This is the truth. When money stops flowing, so-called love dries up. Those who claim to love you often only love your wallet. Vanessa soon called, pretending to care. "Griffin, I heard you and Olivia had a misunderstanding."
No misunderstanding, Vanessa.
"Everything is clear. Olivia wants Marcus to replace me, and I refuse to pay for this farce. Simple as that." That's so childish. Vanessa suddenly raised her voice. Do you know how much Olivia is looking forward to this wedding? Would you really ruin it? I'm not ruining anything, Vanessa. I'm just refusing to be used anymore. The real father walks down the aisle. The fake father just pays the bills. Is that it? I countered. The game is over, Vanessa. I hung up, shocked by the feeling of complete control for the first time. For years, I had been emotionally held hostage, controlled by guilt and a sense of duty. But now I finally saw the truth. I owed them nothing. I immediately contacted my old friend Ethan, a professional asset protection consultant. We had worked at the same company before he started his own security consulting firm. Ethan, I need to protect my assets while ensuring certain people can never exploit me again. What happened, Griffin? His voice was full of concern. I briefly explained the situation, and Ethan was silent for a moment before saying, Don't worry, Griffin. We'll make them understand that betrayal has a price. Come to my office, and we'll talk properly. On Ethan's advice, I took a series of actions. Updated my will, placed most of my assets into an irrevocable trust fund, and protected my company shares from any potential legal actions. At the same time, I quietly made a decision to transfer all the funds I had originally set aside for Olivia's wedding into a trust fund established in Sophia's name. Not for revenge, but to reward those who deserved it. Money can't buy love, but it can expose hypocrisy. When you stop giving, you see clearly who truly cares about you and who just treats you like an ATM. In the weeks that followed, Olivia's messages grew increasingly desperate. Initial anger and accusations gradually gave way to fear and pleading. Dad, we need to talk. The wedding plans are in trouble. Nothing to talk about. Your choices, your consequences. Marcus says he can't afford it. Mom doesn't have enough savings either. Please, Dad, at least help us cover part of it. I didn't respond. For years, whenever I tried to establish an emotional connection with my daughter, how had she and Vanessa treated me? They rejected my love, accepting only my money. Now that the money stopped flowing, they suddenly remembered the importance of family. Olivia's next message was more direct. Dad, if you're willing to pay for the wedding, I can let you and Marcus walk me down the aisle together. She thought this was a compromise? Letting me share a father's honor with the man who destroyed my marriage? I almost laughed out loud. Olivia, this isn't about who walks you down the aisle. It's about respect and boundaries. You crossed that line, and now you must face the consequences. A week later, Sophia came to see me, worry etched on her face. Dad, it's chaos at home. Olivia cries all day, Mom is hysterical, and Marcus is threatening to leave. That's not my concern, Sophia. I know, she said quietly. I just wanted to let you know what's happening. I'm not here to blame you. I looked at my eldest daughter, feeling grateful. Thank you, Sophia. Staying neutral in all this must be difficult. Not neutral, Dad, she corrected. Just fair. You're not wrong. Olivia and Mom, they're too selfish. Olivia's wedding eventually took place in a shabby community center, far from her dreamed luxury venue. Through photos Sophia sent, I saw that Marcus did indeed walk Olivia down the aisle, but from the photos, the scene was painfully awkward. Marcus's stiff smile, Olivia's forced joy, the confused looks from guests. This wasn't a wedding. It was a farce. Life's greatest irony is this. Those who hurt you the most eventually come seeking your help. But helping them only enables them to hurt you again. 6 months later, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find Vanessa standing there, haggard. Deep dark circles underlined her eyes, her once fashionable hairstyle now disheveled, the whole person looking 10 years older. Griffin, we need to talk. Vanessa, we have nothing to discuss. I tried to close the door, but she wedged her foot in the gap. Please, just a few minutes. Things have fallen apart. Out of curiosity and a touch of pity, I let her in. She entered my new home, her eyes revealing surprise and a hint of jealousy. This was a modern-style villa, spacious and bright, completely different from our former home. Marcus left, she said directly, her voice weary. Olivia's marriage only lasted 3 months before ending. We need your help. Need my help? Or my money? Both, she admitted frankly, which was refreshing. I'm in a lot of debt, Olivia too. Marcus. Marcus took most of my savings when he left. We're family, Griffin. No matter what. Just then, Ethan emerged from the back. He was dressed casually but carried himself with professionalism and authority. Vanessa was startled by his sudden appearance. Vanessa, Ethan said calmly, I think you should know you're illegally trespassing in a private residence. Who are you? Vanessa asked, fear in her voice. Griffin, who is this? Vanessa, this is Ethan, my asset protection consultant and friend. Ethan stepped forward. Before you continue, you should see this. He opened his tablet, displaying an extensive document. This is evidence of you and Marcus attempting to illegally transfer funds from Griffin's company before and after the divorce. Emails, bank records, recordings, enough evidence to send you both to prison. Vanessa's face instantly drained of color. That's impossible. We never. Vanessa, stop lying, I said calmly. I know everything. The day I discovered your betrayal, I started collecting evidence. That day I accidentally came home early was actually because the IT department notified me someone was trying to access my financial files. When I checked the surveillance footage, guess who I saw? Marcus in my home office using my computer. Vanessa stood there shocked, lips trembling. Griffin, I can explain. No explanation needed. The evidence is clear enough. Now you have 2 choices. Leave immediately and never harass me again, or I'll submit this evidence to the police and lawyers. You can't do this to me, she suddenly screamed. We have children. We have a shared past. This has nothing to do with the children, Ethan said coldly. This is about law and consequences. If you continue to harass Griffin, this evidence goes straight to the police station. Understood. Vanessa stumbled out the door, her expression shifting from anger to fear to despair. Finally, she turned, giving me one last look. Griffin, how could you? As you said, once this is over, I'm done with you. I closed the door, also closing the past. The house fell silent again. Ethan patted my shoulder. You did the right thing, Griffin. Sometimes, the best self-protection is letting the other person know you're not to be trifled with. I nodded, feeling a strange calm. This wasn't about revenge, but justice. Not about hurting others, but protecting myself. For years, I had been emotionally controlled, held hostage by guilt and responsibility. Now I had finally reclaimed my power. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anger, but letting others face the consequences of their choices. The cruelest punishment isn't the pain you inflict, but the emptiness they create for themselves. A week later, Sophia visited. She wore simple jeans and a t-shirt, hair casually tied in a ponytail, looking more relaxed than usual. Dad, I heard about Vanessa coming here. She told you? Yes, she's devastated. She's been crying since she got home, saying you threatened to send her to prison. Sophia paused. Is it true? I sighed. Not exactly. I do have evidence proving she and Marcus attempted to transfer funds from my company. But I won't actively prosecute her unless she continues to harass me. Sophia thought for a moment, then nodded. I see. Dad, I never thought you would be so strong. Strategic, she corrected. All these years, I thought you were just enduring, but you were actually planning. You always knew they would end up like this, didn't you? I'm not a prophet, Sophia. I just made necessary preparations to protect myself. Olivia is scared, Sophia said softly. She's worried you'll cut off her financial support. Should I? I asked in return. For years, she rejected my love, only accepting my money. She let the cheating Marcus replace my position while expecting me to pay the bills. Should I continue to fund this behavior? Sophia was silent for a long time, finally saying, No, you shouldn't, but she is your daughter, Dad. Regardless. I know. I rubbed my temples. I won't completely cut off her economic support, but I won't give unconditionally anymore. She needs to learn respect and boundaries. Sophia nodded, then hesitated, as if considering whether she should say what came next. Dad, there's something I want to tell you. What is it? I'm getting married. I looked at her in surprise. Really? Congratulations, Sophia. I didn't even know you had a boyfriend. Tristan, she smiled. My college classmate. We've kept in touch and recently started dating again. He's a good man, Dad. You'll like him. I look forward to meeting him. Sophia took a deep breath. Dad, I want you to walk me down the aisle. These words warmed my heart. Really? Yes, and Tristan and I have saved enough money. We don't need your financial support. We're planning a small wedding, inviting only the closest people. In that moment, I felt an unprecedented pride. This is what true family is, not because of blood ties but mutual respect. Sophia didn't ask for my money, but she invited me to share the most important moment of her life. That was the best gift I could receive. Sophia, I would be honored to walk you down the aisle. However, regarding the funding, I still want to help. Not out of obligation, but because I want to. Please let me do something for your special day. She smiled and hugged me. Thank you, Dad. Just having you there is the best gift. On Sophia's wedding day, the sun shone brightly. The venue wasn't large but was carefully arranged, full of warmth and sincerity. As I stood outside Sophia's door in my suit waiting, my heart pounded. The door opened, and there stood Sophia in a simple, elegant white wedding dress, her hair falling naturally. She didn't need elaborate decorations. Her happiness and confidence already made her radiant. You look beautiful, Sophia, I said, choking up. Thank you, Dad. She smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. Ready. More ready than I've ever been. We walked toward the hall together, each step full of meaning. When the music started and everyone stood and turned toward us, I saw Vanessa and Olivia sitting in the back row, their eyes full of complex emotions. Not the joy of victory, but regret for all they had lost. I walked Sophia down the aisle, my heart filled with pride and gratitude. When I handed her to Tristan, I saw the love and commitment in his eyes. In that moment, I knew Sophia would be happy. She had chosen someone who truly loved her, not just for her appearance or wealth. What they lost wasn't money, but true love and respect. Things money could never buy. Real wealth isn't the number in your bank account, but those who still choose to stand by you even when you have nothing. At the reception, Olivia approached me, wearing an expression of sincerity I hadn't seen in a long time. Dad, she said softly, I'm sorry for everything. I was so selfish. Selfishness isn't the problem, Olivia. Forgetting the true meaning of love is. Mom said you cut off all my financial support. Her voice trembled. No, I didn't, I said calmly. I just established some conditions. If you want to continue receiving my help, we need to rebuild a real father-daughter relationship. Not based on money, but mutual respect. Tears glistened in Olivia's eyes. I understand. Can I? Can I start over? Of course. I gently patted her shoulder. But it will take time and sincere effort. We'll take it one step at a time. As I drove home, in the rearview mirror, I saw Vanessa's car slowly pass by, then disappear into the darkness. She didn't stop, didn't try to speak with me. Perhaps she finally understood that some things, once broken, cannot be repaired. I just sat in the car and chuckled softly, not from the satisfaction of revenge, but because I finally understood true freedom isn't control over others, but breaking free from being controlled. True strength isn't the ability to hurt others, but the ability to protect oneself. True love isn't boundless giving, but communication based on mutual respect. This isn't the end. This is my new beginning.
That's the end of today's story. For more captivating tales, hit subscribe and never miss an episode.